Let's begin, everybody. So good evening and welcome to tonight's neighborhood meeting. My name's Tyler Butler and I'm a planner with the City of Barrie's Development Services Department. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to present to you the neighborhood, two separate development concepts being considered by the owner and development team of 427, 429, 431, 435, and 437 Yonge Street, and separately 447, 449, 451, 453, and 455 Yonge Street. Now, prior to a formal development application being submitted to the city, this setting here, this neighborhood meeting, it provides the opportunity for the development team to hear this initial community feedback and incorporate it into their plans prior to making that full and formal development application to us, the City of Barrie, and the development services team. So as always with these Zoom meetings, please be aware we are recording this meeting for the public record. The recording will be used for the purpose of garnering your input to respond to inquiries and will be considered public information. Please do be aware that as a registered attendee tonight, your mailing or your email address will be added to the overall mailing list so that you will receive further information about this application as it progresses. Should you have any questions regarding this collection, please do not hesitate to contact us at the Development Services Department. So I would also like to let everyone know that there's staff behind the scenes managing the technology tonight, and they're here to make sure that the meeting does run smoothly. They're going to grant participants the opportunity to speak, and they're going to assist with any questions in the chat as well. If you prefer to have a typed question instead of a verbal question, please bear with us if we do have any issues. And if for some reason you do get connected, please feel free to log in again. It's likely that we will still be here. And if you do have that question, I promise we will do our best to get to it. So let's go over the meeting overview and the expectations for tonight. The intent of tonight's meeting is to provide members of the public with an opportunity to become familiar with the development application and the planning review process, and to also ask the applicant questions and provide feedback on the concept. What exactly to expect tonight? Well, you're going to get a brief overview of the city's review process and timing. You're going to get a presentation from the applicant's representative describing the proposal, and you're going to have an opportunity to ask questions of either city staff or the applicant and provide comments or identify concerns that you have with this application. But what you should not expect tonight is that you will not hear a city recommendation on this application. You will not hear a detailed analysis on this proposal. That occurs later once we actually see a formal application, and that application and those submission materials will incorporate the things heard tonight. What you cannot expect is a debate on the merits of the proposal between city staff and the applicant or members of the public. There will be opportunities for that in the future. The next step. Before we get to the presentation, I just wanted to quickly highlight those next steps in that planning process with the formal application. This neighborhood meeting is established early in the development process to ensure that the local concerns are heard, incorporated, or addressed through the city's review of the applications. After this meeting, we expect that the applicant will make a formal application for submission for these development projects. Formal submissions do undergo a full technical review and must address the comments received from this neighborhood meeting tonight. From the city's technical departments will also review it, and any external agencies like the conservation authorities or anyone applicable as such, and also from members of the public more broadly. So in conjunction with this, there will be what is called a statutory public meeting, and it likely will be held virtually on the application at Planning Committee. At the public meeting, applicants present their applications to council, answer questions, and provide an overview of and response to any issues and concerns identified during this neighborhood meeting. As part of a public meeting, members of the public also have an additional opportunity to provide verbal or written comments directly to council. So Following that public meeting, staff will continue the technical review process, and we will provide comments to the applicants, and the applicants will make any necessary revisions to the development proposal. Once the review process has concluded, a staff recommendation report is brought forward to council for their consideration. All comments received throughout the review process, including those received at the neighborhood meeting and at the public meetings, are identified and addressed in that staff report. And that does form part of staff's recommendation on the subject applications. We believe that staff reports for these applications likely would not be brought forward until sometime potentially in early 2023. Of course, we're aware that we have the election this fall. So with all of that being said, I will now move on to the applicant's presentation. As I mentioned, the proposed projects will be presented first, which we will follow with a question and comment period. So let's introduce the applicant and the application. So we're focusing again on two separate zoning bylaw amendment applications proposed at 427, 429, 431, 435, 437 Yonge Street, and separately 447, 449, 451, 453, and 455 Yonge Street. The applicant's planner is Vanessa Simpson from Innovative Planning Solutions. So I will now hand the meeting over to Vanessa Simpson, who's going to first introduce herself, and then she's going to share the presentation on these proposed developments. So again, if I can introduce you all to Vanessa and ask the technical staff if they can stop the recording, I guess currently right now, or begin the recording and continue it, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Just gonna change some settings here. All right, so thank you, Tyler, for the introduction. If at any time I'm hard to, you're having a challenge hearing me, please just type it in the box. I'll see if I catch it and speak louder. So as Tyler said, I am Vanessa Simpson. I am representing the applicant for these two files, and I work with Innovative Planning Solutions here in Barrie. So good evening, councillor, staff, and any members of the public that are joining us tonight. As Tyler's introduced, I am presenting the proposed applications for addresses 427, 455 Yonge Street. As Tyler mentioned, the applications are for proposed zoning bylaw amendments. And really the intent of this meeting, my goal of this meeting, is to present to you where we're currently at with exploring the concept for both developments and receiving feedback. So the subject lands are located on the east side of Yonge Street, just south of Little Avenue. McLaren Avenue divides the 10 parcels into two consolidated sites. The north site, which I'll reference as the north site throughout the presentation, shown here in the red outline, consists of a 427 through 437 Yonge Street. It has a site area of approximately 6,666 meters square, with frontage along McLaren as well as Yonge Street. Similarly, the south site, shown in the blue outline, represents 447 to 455 Yonge Street. It has a site area of approximately 5,300 meters square and also has frontage along both Yonge Street and McLaren. These two sites, as Tyler alluded to, will be submitted as two separate development applications. However, it is anticipated that they will be submitted concurrently. For the purposes of tonight's meeting and this presentation, the two sites will be discussed together. So Yonge Street is identified as an intensification corridor, and it has been for some time now. It's an area that has started to see some redevelopment in recent years and will continue to see redevelopment and intensification. The subject sites are shown here in red, and this aerial provides an overview of the surrounding neighborhood, which consists of a variety of residential uses, including single detached dwellings, townhouse dwellings, and 4-story walk-up apartments, a retirement home, a church, as well as a variety of commercial plazas and uses. There are also some parks located in the area, including trails and environmentally protected lands. There are a number of active development applications in this area, some of which have been approved by council and others that are working through the approvals process. These proposals are primarily residential, and they include everything from townhouses, 4-story walk-up apartments, to condo buildings up to 12 stories in height. Again, another view of the surrounding area. For both sites, the existing land use designation is residential, which we are not anticipating on changing. And the existing zoning is R1, residential 1, which is the zone that is anticipated to change. So the first proposal, the north site, 427 to 437 Yonge Street, is shown here. So you can see Yonge Street is along the bottom of the screen, McLaren's along the right-hand side. This site, it's anticipated to propose an 8-story mixed-use condominium building. It will include ground floor commercial uses and provide a total of 337 residential uses, residential units. And these can range from anything from a bachelor to a three-bedroom unit. Parking is proposed through 2 levels of underground parking and some surface parking, some of which you can see here kind of in the gray, as well as some is slightly covered by the building. It's anticipated to provide 418 parking spaces. So I'll just talk a little bit more about the site. So you can see the entrance is here, which would kind of go underneath the building. The building's obviously shown as a U shape currently. We are required to provide a road widening along the frontage of Yonge Street. We have to date completed a tree inventory, which reviews all existing trees on the parcel, as well as any boundary trees, which are shown here on this image. And it's important to note all existing boundary trees are proposed to be protected and maintained. So any evolution of our concept will honor and respect those trees that are on the boundary lines. The proposal for 455 is shown here. This is, again, what we refer to as the south site. And an 8-story condo building is proposed along the frontage of the building, proposing 158 residential units. 2 blocks, the ones shown in yellow at the rear of the site, are proposed to be 3-story stacked townhouses, providing a total of 13 units. This provides a total of 171 residential units for the site. Again, parking is proposed through 2 levels of underground parking and some very minor surface parking under the building. Again, this site, all boundary trees are being proposed to be protected and maintained throughout the development. This application, again, has to provide a road widening, and this application proposes to provide an entrance off McLaren. As well, it loops through onto Yonge Street. The zoning bylaw amendment applications intend to rezone the lands from residential single detached dwelling first density R1 to the mixed use corridor zone with special provisions. Each site will have a site-specific zoning as required to address its specific built form and any site features that need to be addressed. We have highlighted a few that we are anticipating at this moment. But again, as Tyler mentioned, this is a first step in the process, and it's possible that these could change. In conclusion, the zoning bylaw amendments would propose to facilitate the following. On the north site, an 8-story apartment building consisting of ground floor commercial and 337 residential units, as well as 2 levels of underground parking, in addition to surface parking. Similarly, 447 to 455 would provide an 8-story condo building containing 158 dwelling units, 2 3-story stacked townhouse blocks, and underground parking as well as surface parking. At this stage, both concepts are preliminary and may see modifications and changes as they evolve into formal applications. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing your questions and comments.